12,800 years ago, our planet was a very different place. Vast ice sheets still covered large parts of the northern hemisphere, but the climate was beginning to warm. The long ice age was slowly retreating. Life flourished in remarkable ways. Across North America, enormous herds of woolly mammoths moved across open tundra. Their curved tusks caught the sunlight as they used their long trunks to pull up tough grasses. In the forests, mastodons browsed on leaves and branches. Their heavy bodies left deep tracks in the soft earth. Giant ground sloths moved slowly through the trees. They reached up with huge claws to strip leaves from high branches. Saber-toothed cats waited silently in the shadows. Their long fangs were built for deep, piercing bites. Short-faced bears roamed as powerful predators. When they stood on their hind legs, they towered over almost every other animal. American lions hunted in small groups across the plains. Giant beavers constructed massive dams that changed the course of rivers. Camels and horses grazed in large herds. These were the megafauna. Animals weighing more than 44 kilograms. Many weighed several tons. They shaped the landscapes they lived in. They maintained grasslands. They spread seeds. They created habitats for countless smaller species. Then, in a very short time, almost everything changed. The world experienced a sudden and violent event. The skies filled with fire. The ground shook with tremendous force. A wave of destruction rolled across entire continents. This event is known today as the Younger Dryas Impact. It was not simply a slow climate shift. It was not only the result of human hunting. It appears to have been a cosmic catastrophe. Fragments of a comet or asteroid entered the atmosphere. They exploded above the Earth in powerful airbursts. These explosions triggered massive wildfires. They caused immediate cooling. They destabilized ice sheets. They sent huge amounts of meltwater into the oceans. The result was the rapid extinction of most megafauna species. The Younger Dryas itself was a dramatic return to cold conditions. It began around 12,900 years ago. It lasted for roughly 1,200 years. Temperatures dropped sharply. In some places the drop reached 15 degrees Celsius. Glacier advanced again. The warming trend reversed very quickly. Ice core records from Greenland show this change happened in as little as a decade. Possibly even in a single year. For animals adapted to warmer conditions. This was catastrophic. Grasslands became covered in ice. Forests died back. Food became scarce. Many species could not adapt fast enough. Scientists have long debated the cause of this sudden cooling. One popular explanation is a shutdown of ocean circulation. Fresh water from melting ice sheets flooded into the North Atlantic. This disrupted the warm currents that carry heat northward. This explanation makes sense. It explains part of the cooling. However, it does not fully account for the exact timing. It does not explain why so many large animals disappeared at precisely the same moment. It also struggles to explain why similar extinction patterns appeared across different continents. This is where the impact hypothesis becomes important. In 2007, a group of researchers proposed a bold idea. They suggested that fragments of a disintegrating comet exploded over northern North America. These were not the kind of impacts that leave huge craters. They were airbursts. Explosions high in the atmosphere. Each one released energy equal to millions of tons of TNT. The shock waves flattened forests over enormous distances. They ignited fires across millions of hectares. They threw dust, soot, and melted rock particles into the air. The sky darkened. Sunlight was blocked. Temperatures plunged. The explosions also fractured parts of the massive Laurentide ice sheet. This released sudden floods of freshwater into the ocean. That freshwater pulse intensified the cooling already started by the atmospheric dust. The most important evidence comes from a thin layer found at dozens of sites. This layer is called the black mat. It is a dark, carbon-rich deposit. It is usually only a few centimeters thick. It appears at the exact boundary of the Younger Dryas. Below this layer lie bones of mammoths, mastodons, ground sloths, and other megafauna. Clovis spear points are also found there. Above the layer, these animals and tools disappear completely. Inside the black mat itself are unusual materials. High levels of iridium. High levels of platinum. Both are elements rare on Earth but common in extraterrestrial objects. Magnetic microspherules. These are tiny balls of melted iron. They form when rock is vaporized and then cools quickly in the air. Nanodiamonds. These are special crystals that require extreme pressure and heat. Charcoal and soot from massive burning. Glass-like carbon spherules. Pieces of rock melted into glass. Iridium and platinum concentrations in the black mat. Reach levels similar to those found at the boundary that ended the age of dinosaurs. Platinum spikes appear in Greenland ice cores. They match the exact start of the Younger Dryas. Similar platinum anomalies have been found in peat deposits in South Africa. This suggests the material spread across the entire planet. Nanodiamonds are especially telling. They include a rare form called lonsdaleite. This form only appears under shock pressures greater than 100 gigapascals. Such conditions occur in impacts or nuclear detonations. They do not form in ordinary wildfires or volcanic eruptions. The concentrations are far higher than background levels. They match patterns seen at other confirmed impact boundaries. Magnetic spherules show signs of extraterrestrial composition. Their iron and nickel ratios are consistent with meteoritic material. They appear in large numbers exactly at the boundary layer. The charcoal evidence is dramatic. It indicates continent-wide fires. Estimates suggest 10% of the Earth's land surface burned in a very short time. Soot particles trapped in ice cores confirm heavy atmospheric pollution. This soot would have blocked sunlight for months. It reduced plant growth. It disrupted food chains. The landscape itself carries scars. Thousands of elliptical depressions called Carolina Bays cover parts of the eastern United States. They point in a consistent direction, northwest to southeast. This orientation suggests they were formed by material ejected from an impact site in the north. Some scientists argue they are natural features from wind or melting permafrost. However, their shape and alignment remain difficult to explain without a high-energy event. In Greenland, a large impact structure was discovered in 2018. It is called the Hiawatha crater. It measures 31 kilometers across. It lies beneath a kilometer of ice. It has a central uplift typical of impact craters. While its exact age is still being studied, preliminary data place it in the late Pleistocene. If confirmed as Younger Dryas age, it would be direct evidence of the proposed event. The animals that vanished tell a clear story. In North America, 35 genera of large mammals disappeared. That is 82% of all species over 44 kilograms. Woolly mammoths were keystone animals. They kept grasslands open. They spread nutrients through their dung. Their disappearance changed entire landscapes. Mastodons were forest specialists. Their teeth were shaped for browsing on twigs and leaves. Ground sloths like Megalonyx jeffersonii could stand 3 meters tall. They used powerful claws to pull down branches. Saber-toothed cats relied on ambush hunting. Their long canines were perfect for throat strikes. Short-faced bears were fast and strong. American lions dominated the open plains. Native horses and camels grazed in huge numbers. Giant beavers altered river systems with their dams. In South America the pattern repeats. Megatherium, the giant ground sloth, reached 6 meters in length. Glyptodons were heavily armored herbivores. Toxodons resembled large rhinos. These species disappeared at roughly the same time, even though humans arrived in South America later than in North America. In Eurasia, woolly rhinoceros, steppe bison, and cave lions vanished. African megafauna suffered fewer losses. This may be because humans and large animals co-evolved there for much longer. Smaller animals generally survived. They reproduced faster. They needed less food. Bison, elk, deer, and smaller carnivores adapted to the new conditions. The largest animals, with slow reproduction and high food demands, were most vulnerable. Humans also experienced major changes. The Clovis culture was widespread across the Americas. They made distinctive fluted spear points. They hunted large game successfully. After the black mat layer, Clovis tools disappear. New cultural traditions emerge. Genetic studies of modern Native Americans show evidence of a population bottleneck around this time. Alternative explanations have been carefully considered. The overkill hypothesis suggests humans hunted the megafauna to extinction. This idea works well on islands where animals had no previous experience with humans. On continents, however, the extinctions concentrate precisely at the Younger Dryas boundary, not at the time humans first arrived. Gradual climate change is another possibility. The megafauna had survived earlier warm periods. The Younger Dryas cooling was far more rapid and severe than previous shifts. A combination of human hunting and climate stress is also proposed. Yet the impact hypothesis provides a single trigger. It explains the suddenness. It explains the fires. It explains the global markers. It explains why extinctions were so synchronous. The debate continues. Some studies have failed to replicate certain markers. Others have found them consistently. New discoveries of shocked quartz, melt glass, and platinum anomalies keep strengthening the case. A comprehensive review published in recent years concluded that the evidence is now overwhelming. As someone who has spent decades studying ancient ecosystems, I find this period humbling. Standing at an excavation site, holding a Clovis point covered by the black mat, you can almost feel the moment the world changed. A single cosmic event ended an entire chapter of life on Earth. The megafauna are gone. Their bones remain. Their story warns us. The planet is fragile. The universe is unpredictable. Events beyond our control can reshape everything in an instant. 12,800 years ago, the giants fell. The world was never the same again.